news and notes to the coaches and players for America's team, let us go inside the stars on 105.3 The Fan.
And we do it here on Shan, RJ, and Bobby. He is our Cowboys insider. This is a shout out to the 6 a.m. Club, our best audience of the entire show. Thank you for turning it on, leaving it on, your home of America's team. Practice squad signings did take place yesterday. Roberto, La'el Collins, Damian Wilson, 2 of the 4.
Yep, that's good news to get La'el Collins wrapped up after that had become really confusing and bizarre, where it's like, oh no, it's done, and La'el's telling Nick Eatman that he's there, and then Nick's like, yeah, well, I mean, La'el, he's still not here, actually. And then we got through the end of the day, and people were like, well, Buffalo might come in. You might get Buffalo. They could come in here, swoop in, make things difficult. And then finally last night, the news comes together that, all right, good, he's there. And then Damian Wilson, the fact that you're going to go ahead and put him on the practice squad, I think that that's a good call, just because he's veteran linebacker. You clearly need bodies there. And so, yeah, big additions, very familiar, getting the band back together.
I mean, they're not big additions.
Big additions. Well, I do think the La'el Collins ones has a chance to be a big addition.
Why?
Because if he can step in there and if he has the workout, like they said, if you can add offensive line depth, that can become a big addition if Tyron Smith gets hurt. There's always a chance of Tyron getting hurt, and I feel a lot better about La'el Collins coming off the street than Chuma Edoga. So that to me is a big addition because it could save you.
Clarence Hill and Josina Anderson throwing some fuel on the Dalvin Cook fire. Josina said the Cowboys will consider potentially adding him. Clarence said the Cowboys are indeed doing their homework after Dalvin Cook was released by the New York Jets.
Due diligence, they call it, right?
Yeah,
doing our due diligence. Look, I mean,
wait. So yesterday when Nick was on, he said, I thought he brought up a good point. He said, "Is Rico Dowdle better than Dalvin Cook?"
Yes, right now he is.
Okay,
to me, given what they need him to do, he's better. Like, I mean, Dalvin Cook's a better pass catcher, but Rico is more explosive and Rico pass blocks better. Not that Rico's been great at it this year, but he's better than Dalvin Cook. And so, to me, I don't think that Dalvin Cook is better right now. Not enough so to take away snaps, as long as he's healthy, which right now Rico Dowdle is not healthy, and that's been an issue for him for 4 years.
Tony Pollard was asked about his year, and he said, I thought I would probably have a better season. Where we are as far as playoffs and rankings, I couldn't complain. It's been an okay year. I hold myself to a higher standard. Why not more big plays? Quote, I'm not sure, but the season is not over. We've got a lot of games left to play. We will see. As for his health, I'm great. Ankle feels good. There's no nagging problems or anything like that. I'm ready to go. Man, I think it was Nick yesterday who said his longest run of the year was 30 yards. I would have lost a lot of money betting that was his longest run of the season. Yeah. And there was a Tolo who hit me up earlier in the year and said, hey, he doesn't have the same burst. It was like the second game of the season or the first game. And I was like, you're ridiculous. Like, you're overreacting. You're being dramatic. And I would have to go ahead and apologize to that Tolo. Because 30 yards for Tony Pollard, he's supposed to be the home run hitter that Zeke was not.
I mean, maybe the injury did it. Maybe the workload did it. It wouldn't seem the workload would do it in week 2. Right? Maybe it was the injury, though. That is the reason that it's not there anymore.
That was Nick's hottest and best take yesterday when he joined us talking about being wrong over the run game. He was going hard in with a Zeke opinion. He was saying Skip Pete, the running backs coach, tried to tell us. They tried to tell us that Tony Pollard could not handle this workload, and all of us who wanted Tony to get those touches have been proven wrong.
He had 70 yards at least in each of the first 3 games. Rushed for 70, 72, and 122. Since that time, the next 13 games, Tony Pollard has rushed for 70 yards once.
Wow.
One time in 13 weeks. It has not been a good year for him. And look, a lot of times it is what's blocked for you. What are you getting? I mean, there's some running backs who they can get you a little extra. They can, do things after contact, but right now, Pollard isn't one of those guys. He's getting what's blocked for him, which isn't very much.
Pro Bowlers were announced.
Snub. Tyler Smith was snubbed. That's how I feel about that.
Okay.
Tyler to me has been their best offensive lineman easily this year. And I mean, Tyron has played well. I get inconsistencies with injuries. There's some really good tackles across the league. I get how he didn't make it, but to me, there's no excuse for Tyler Smith not to make it. The 49ers came in hard hard charge with that push to take over. The Cowboys had like 5 guys leading at position groups heading into the final ballot. Then the final ballot comes out yesterday, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden, CeeDee Lamb's been passed by Brandon Ayuk as the top receiver in the NFC. The 49ers guard has surpassed Zach Martin as the top vote getter. It's like Micah, Aubrey, and that was it, were the top vote getters for the Cowboys. Charvarius Ward had passed Deron Bland as the top corner, so late push for the 49ers. Micah looked like he was complaining about that a little bit on Twitter yesterday.
Ayuk's having a good year, but not better than CD.
No, CeeDee Lamb's been the best receiver in the NFC. It's not been close.
Micah Parsons on his podcast was talking about that very subject.
CeeDee Lamb set 2 Cowboys franchise records in the game. He passed Michael Irvin for the most catches and the most receiving yards in the season. He was selected for a drug test. It doesn't even matter. We know he's clean. That's CeeDee Lamb, the best receiver in the NFL. Not top 5, not top 3. He's top 2, not 2. And I think he's putting on the show. And if it wasn't for that little drought period before he had to show that he's always open, he arguably would have broke the record. I don't care what nobody says. CeeDee's a boss. He probably should be Offensive Player of the Year. CeeDee Lamb, congratulations, brother. You are truly showing why you're the number one. There was a lot of naysayers. I remember Richard Sherman early in the year said he wasn't even a top 5 receiver. A lot of people said he couldn't be a number 1 when Amari Cooper was gone. CeeDee's still here. He just continues to get better, and he's having a year of his life, and he's going to have a big, big payday coming soon.
I did not think he was going to say naysayer. My chest tightened up when he said that.
Reese Parsons over here. I need the isolation of that CeeDee Lamb.
That needs to be a drop.
Is that what we're doing? I did not know that was the sound effect.
Can I just briefly complain?
Lamb.
Can I briefly complain about the
replace Gallops with that?
I hate the little sound effect style on some of these podcasts. It feels so inauthentic. Like, all right, we go on this rant and then hit me with your little sound effect swipes here and everything else. But
CeeDee Lamb,
he is. I mean, it's
you can't make a case as the best receiver in the NFL. You cannot make a case.
Probably not.
That's not probably.
Bassick had him 3.
He's absolutely top 5 now.
Sure, but you can't make a case number 1
over Tyreek.
Over Tyreek,
you can make a case.
You can't even play devil's advocate.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can make a case that he's like, when you want to talk about technically speaking and well-rounded and everything else, you can make an argument that he's right near the top.
Okay,
Tyreek Hill's a freak.
Tyreek's the best.
Tyreek Hill is so much faster than everybody else. But if you want to talk about like who's a cleaner route runner, who does that, like CeeDee's better at that than Tyreek Hill.
Sure, whatever. Don't care. Like Tyreek just flies by everybody else, and it's crazy.
Yeah. You want to give Lamar Jackson all the credit for being a running quarterback, and then you want to discount CeeDee Lamb's technical ability.
I mean, but no one's going to say that. I mean, the argument starts is, can he be number 2? Like, that's where the argument starts. Like, is he number 2? This year he is, because Jefferson was hurt for a large part of it.
What is going on with Mazi Smith's weight?
He dropped a lot of it. Probably like 30, 40 pounds in the middle of the season.
30 or 40 pounds in the middle of the season.
Yeah, he's
John Owning from PFF was talking about Broadus citing that, talking about that, and then going off about this as a humongous, major problem that Clarence Hill asked the coaching staff about the other day. So why did he drop all that weight?
They have not made it very clear, but I think the sense coming out of there is they want him to be quicker. And they think that, we've heard about him being quick off the ball being a problem this year. I think they think that he'll play quicker and faster. But to me, it's like, well, you didn't draft him to be a 3 technique to rush up the field. You draft him to take up space. And so having him play,
30 or 40 within the season?
Yeah, that seems a lot.
That's a lot.
I know. How heavy was he when he got picked? Like 330? Like he's a big guy. You take a look at him now. He's probably under 300 pounds.
Who loses 40 pounds in 4 months?
I mean,
that's not right.
Kelly Clarkson.
I mean, how often do you see these offensive linemen get out of the league? Joe Thomas drops 100 pounds in like 6 months, because a lot of those guys, it is the conditioning. If they want to tweak you to do a certain thing, you can drop weight pretty quick.
Yeah, the best part of watching that Michigan Bama game was all the reaction of which of these Michigan defensive linemen the Cowboys are going to miss on next.
And they're nasty.
But at least 3 of those guys will be a bust in the league. That's kind of the way it works.
Couldn't get Aiden Hutchinson and Rashawn Gary. Had to get Taco Charlton and Mazi Smith.
So they're changing his role then. They're changing his role from a 1 to a 3.
It feels like it. It definitely feels like they want him to be quicker off the ball. Now, if you play with enough power, you can play one technique at 295. It's more difficult, but I mean, he's somebody who I don't think his problem getting off the ball was an issue of weight. Like, he wasn't quick enough. Like, he's a freak. He's an athletic freak. I think his issue is instincts and timing and just still trying to get a feel for that sort of thing. He's still a very young, raw player. I don't know how much I like the idea of him dropping as much weight as he is, but you can stand there. If you look at him just standing there on the field, he's smaller. Like, it's really obvious.
People coming after Will McClay again?
Yep, that's what it sounds like. Jeremy Fowler over at ESPN. Dan Graziano and him, we've talked about this article before. Every week they kind of just do a ping pong back and forth, just stuff they're hearing from around the league. And Jeremy Fowler says there's some buzz that teams are loading up, getting ready to pursue Will McClay again. Now, obviously, he's been really comfortable here. He likes things here. The Cowboys are willing to back up the Brinks truck for him each time that they've needed to. But it does at least sound like some teams are going to try and make a pitch for him, even if it's unlikely he were to leave Dallas. I think it'd have to be a really specific scenario, and I don't even know which one that would be, but I'm saying I think it'd have to check off a number of boxes for him to consider it. I think he really likes the setup he has here. He's not one of these ego guys, I think, who feels like, well, I need to be called general manager. I think he likes that he's been able to build the entire scouting staff the way he wants and have the control he does.
It was family that kept him here.
That's Brian has said that, I know, is that, you know, he's had he's got a son who has been, you know, he's single dad, and so he's had a son here that he's tried to, you know, stay around for. That's one of the things that Brian stayed for.
Right.
Was that Bennett growing up, he couldn't take a gig again.
It's very, 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 very common. Yeah, I mean, like, it would be, it's one of those things where it's stunning he hasn't been poached. But, I mean, there's a certain thing where, you know, if you've got kids in the area and you can't leave, it's just like, what are you going to do?
Well, and you can't discount the fact that even though he's not named general manager, he has complete control to build that scouting staff the way he wanted. And he's been able to put guys into place that he wants to build. The Cowboys have a very specific way of operating their scouting process that differs from the rest of the league, that I think it's something where Will McClay feels like, I've completely built this and I have complete control over this, and regardless of titles, I don't know that I'd be able to have in place exactly what I have in place here if I were to go somewhere else. So there is an attractiveness here, and it's, you know, they make sure that he's paid like one of the better front office guys in the NFL.
Did Broadus' kid go to a game with Zach recently?
He went to the Big 12 title game, Texas Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Yep.
I was like, Wilchuck's getting a lot of these tickets. Are they coming from Broadus? Like, what's going on?
Oh yeah,
World Series offers and everything. This is the guilt. This is still the guilt trip.
That's making the rounds, asking everybody if they got free tickets. That's what Wilchuck's
Zach?
doing. Yeah.
What are you insinuating?
I'm saying he came to me and said, do you have a hookup for free tickets to the Texas game?
He likes to fart in bed.
Yes.
Bet online with the very latest on who is going to win it all. The favorite is
Baltimore.
No, San Fran.
San Francisco.
That's my guess.
You want to make up your minds?
That's my guess. San Francisco.
San Francisco 2-1.
Thank you, Peyton.
No. Baltimore second. Then
Buffalo.
Yeah. Buffalo.
I can't believe it.
I know.
Why did you guess Buffalo?
Because they're the third best team.
I think that you're going to if I were making the odds myself, I would put AFC teams near the higher, because I think San Fran is the more likely team to make it out of either conference of the top two.
Okay.
So I would have the second, third, and fourth team be out of the AFC.
After Buffalo.
Dallas.
Yes. Then
Kansas City.
Yes. Then
Believeland.
No.
Detroit.
No.
Philly? Really?
Then
Clowns.
neither of the teams that you named.
Really? Okay.
Miami.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Miami.
So San Fran, Baltimore, Buffalo, the Cowboys, Chiefs, Eagles, Miami, then Detroit, Cleveland, Jacksonville.
Man, honestly, like, in the NFC, man, it's San Fran. Obviously, there's no doubt. It's like San Fran's the clear favorite. But dude, if you can't make the conference championship game this year, You ain't never gonna do it.
Somebody, look,
Someone's gonna get picked off.
San Francisco's not like a guarantee to win it, but it really does feel like you're in any given Sunday type of feeling in the NFC.